184. Let's get to a random film, and the next couple of days are also going to be random films just as a little bit of filler, change of pace. So, hope that's all right. Let's get to Killing Season from 2013, which is directed by Mark Steven Johnson, who also did Ghost Rider and the original Daredevil film, written by the guy Evan Dougherty, who also wrote Snow White and the Huntsman, Tomb Raider, some others. Stars Robert De Niro, John Travolta, Milo Ventimiglia, Liz Olsen. That's about it, really. And the synopsis is two veterans of the Bosnian War, one American, one Serbian, find their unlikely friendship tested when one of them reveals their true intentions. So, I've just been trying to find a random collection of films to cover, when I don't have anything else to do or I would rather not do a new film. And this is one that I just came across that I'd seen way back when, I think around the time that it came out, just by chance. I was like, okay, cool. And first thing, John Travolta, I kind of hate that he's in so many bad movies, especially over the last decade or so, where he's doing very much B movies rather than really big A-list projects, which I think he definitely has the talent for. And he does them occasionally, and he's great. Like, he's one of those actors, when he's really, really good, when he cares, he can be the most enjoyable person on screen. And I think even in his worst movies, he's still entertaining. So that's saying something. So he was a draw for this. And then also Robert De Niro. This is very much a smaller film for him than he usually does. Although he's had his fair share of B movies, not so good movies over the last 10, 15 years as well. Going into this the first time, this was just the second time that I'd seen it. Didn't know much about it at all. Just knew it was kind of a cat and mouse sort of thriller. John Travolta's character is this Serbian who was shot during the war, and then he comes back and basically seeks revenge on the Americans for who they killed, not doing enough. It's all sort of a little messy in terms of the motivation, but basically it's the revenge of, you came into my country, you caused this violence, you almost killed me or killed this person. I'm going to seek justice for that and take it into my own hands. That's pretty much the sum of the movie. And he goes to where Robert De Niro lives in the woods and just plays it off as, here, I'm walking through the woods. Oh, you need help with your car? Let me help you out. Let me be a good Samaritan. And then Robert De Niro invites him back to his cabin. They have a night of drinking and sharing stories. And then the next morning they go hunting. John Travolta's character goes on this manhunt for De Niro through the woods. And that's basically the rest of the movie. And I like that idea. It's pretty simple. And as opposed to a lot of other recent John Travolta B movies, there's not a lot of big goofy effects. It is just two guys in the woods. There's no crazy action sequences or some huge overarching complex plot. It is what it is on paper. I don't think the movie overall is that good. I remember I liked it decently so the first time, and I think I liked it about as much this time, maybe slightly less. And even though his accent is a little over the top, I still think it works pretty well, and I can accept him as that character. And then Robert De Niro is his solid, reliable self. So performance-wise, good. Nothing bad at all, I think. That opening act where, like I said, they run into each other, I was engaged, even though it was occasionally a little obvious and predictable as to where things are going to go or what people say. It was still entertaining, and I didn't mind spending time in that suspenseful moment where Travolta is going from the kind-hearted stranger to then showing this inner rage and anger and anticipation of getting De Niro vulnerable. I think all that was very interesting. And that opening moment where things go crazy in the woods was good as well. I just think that over time, as the movie goes on, it does become a bit of a grim slog to get through, and there's not a whole lot being discussed at a certain point. And some of the conversations of Travolta trying to explain his revenge motivation and all these big overarching ideas of humanity and God are just a little not really on point. I think they're a little confused and a little goofy as well for what's actually happening in the movie. So the writing it's hit and miss. It's not terrible, but definitely inconsistent in some ways. As you would expect, I don't think it's really a spoiler. It's such a small movie and it's been out for 10 years, so sorry. But throughout the film, first, Travolta will get the one up on De Niro and then the other way around, and smartly so. It's not too long. I think it's maybe 90 minutes. So it definitely flies by, or maybe not flies by, but it's not such a slog that it's 2.5 hours of being out in the woods with these guys. But I think that there is a point where I just don't care that much about either of them, because De Niro, I mean, he's not some shining star of a character, and then Travolta, don't love him either. It's more so relying on the charisma of those performances that keep you through. Besides that, the editing direction is clean. Like, I think the story is well put together. I was never really confused of where we were geographically. I had a good sense of who those characters were. It's shot decently well for being a overcast, moody, rainy exterior shot film. Like, I think it looked all right for what it is. So if you are in the need of, I wouldn't rush out to see it. Let me just say that. It's available on a lot of free streaming sites, so that gives you some information there about what it is. It could have been a lot better. There could have been a lot more interesting, complex ideas fleshed out with these two guys in conversation and what the overall story means. So there for sure is wasted potential in this one, but give it a try. That one is a light 3 out of 5.